Welcome! Today we're going to show you our really good home. We're going to take you for a run through our bush tracker and show all the mod cons that we have in our not quite so tiny home. Having a self-contained off-road caravan allows us the option to free camp whenever we want to. So I hope you enjoy our beautiful little home. Hello everyone, we've had a request from a few people that you want a tour through our van, so here it is. This is our lounge area. Because we're living in our van full time and plan to basically forever, this is why we have such a large lounge. It also turns into a bed, so it's nearly a double swag, so we can fit two people on it, which is lovely. When you get your van, make sure you do ask if it comes with a cushion for the bed, and later we'll show you exactly where we store the cushion. We've got two Sirocco fans. We had our curtains custom made, and we have our blinds that pull up. So the pull up blinds, what I mean is they actually pull up, which means you can have them sort of halfway and have ventilation come through, where they're supposed to apparently be installed the opposite direction, so they pull down, which means if you're in a nutty, everyone's going to have a good perf. Under the couch is full storage. Each one has a cover that you can get into. There's washing lines and all sorts of things under here, all stored out of sight. It's great. This drawer goes into that couch. Lots of cupboard space.
Above the lounge we have all of our electrical displays and switches and so on. So we've got our battery capacity there, our inverter, our diesel heater, gas hot water, stereo. We also have cell-fi installed, and we've got our circuit breakers for all of the low voltage power. On the other side we have the switchboard for all the 240 volt power when you're connected to plug in, you know, at a caravan park or somewhere like that, and our electric hot water switch is in there as well. Obviously if we're in a caravan park we turn our electric hot water on. If we're off grid we use gas.
The kitchen, we've got our washing machine, which is 4 kilos. It's probably the best washing machine I've had. It does a full load in 30 minutes. If I've got something that needs a light wash, I can do it in 14. Easy. Obviously the sink. So I'm a bit of a spice girl, and I love my spices. So this is all easy to use. They come out easy, they flip forward. And the bigger ones, same thing, but when we are traveling I do take the bigger ones out because I'm concerned that I'm going to come into a colour party. The smaller ones we've had no issues. At worst I've had one that's been tilted forward like that. Otherwise it's been great on the road. Lots of yummy food to have. This is our pantry, and it's a bit dishevelled, excuse the mess, but it slides in and out. Both do, if I don't pack it so busily. So much food in there, it's crazy. So the stove, we've got the oven. It was something we really debated, but it has been a godsend in the cold weather. The stove top is a 4 burner. This flips over so that you can do a wok, which we do often. And the people at Bushtracker have made a little latch that makes it all stay there. We've got our microwave, which has made a little latch. You just turn it and that locks it for travel, just in case. We always take out the microwave tray. Our TV, they've made a bracket for it so it locks in and it's brared underneath, so it holds it quite firm for travelling. The fridge is massive, we love it, it holds quite a lot. Bushtracker have made this little doodaddy, I presume they did it, but it's fabulous. We put it into the little hole that they've made and that locks the fridge shut. And I've heard many bad stories about not putting this in and the fridge has just blown its pieces everywhere.
The fridge is a 215 litre compressor fridge, so it doesn't run on gas, it just runs on 12 volts from the battery all the time.
It's isotherm. We've got lots of drawer space, pots and pans. We've got all the wok, bread making equipment, all my pickling and all that sort of stuff. In here, you know, we've got potato storage, all the condiments and things that we can have, and then more space, so glasses, it's tons of space for everything. There was a bit of a debate over the toilet and shower with getting it built because everyone generally has a general layout. We opted to have our toilet separate. Got a nice towel rack in there as well. We opted for one in each area. The heater, actually, the diesel heater runs into this room, so it means that we can use it as a drying room as well. You've got your toilet, lots of storage again, lovely sink. A nice mirror. Hi, how you going? So yeah, we like it. It's quite good. Toilet turns, so you don't have to try and fit in there if you don't want to, but yeah, as you can see, there's plenty of space. So that's a spare washing line. We just hook it up over the railing and then bring it across and then plug it into here. So it just gives us a washing line inside, especially in winter with the heating. The shower is a pretty basic shower, but we love it because it's quite large. I've even got a step so I can shave my legs.
Installed extra hanging racks, which are great for winter or whenever when you're trying to dry your clothes. And as a standard feature from Bushtracker, it's also got a built-in storage cupboard which is waterproof, so you can put all your toiletries or spare shampoos or that sort of thing in there.
This is the bedroom. We've got Sirocco fans on both sides, big wardrobes. We have boot lockers that are on both sides of the bed. There's 2 boot lockers and they allow us to store lots of things there.
The caravan bed is actually higher than most caravans. It's got 6 drawers underneath, and that's how the step for the foot lockers come in. So you actually step up on the foot lockers to get into the bed. The higher bed and the little foot locker step work quite well. We've got slightly higher ceilings as well. We've gone for 75mm higher ceilings. So if you just had the standard height ceilings in the foot locker, if you were tall, you probably would hit your head on the roof. No side drawers, as that's the tunnel boot for the outside kitchen.
The wardrobes are fantastic. They hold a great deal of clothing, but in mine it's actually a little bit special because it holds my pacemaker reader. I have it velcroed down so that it doesn't move in transport, and we have a power point in there to allow it to run when we are getting Wi-Fi or whatever. It's just back to base monitoring for my pacemaker. Full length mirror, love it.
Under the bed we have some of Catherine's clothes, but apart from that it goes through to the tunnel boot where our pull-out kitchen is. We elected to have a pull-out kitchen instead of storage for more the tropical lifestyle when we're living in the van. Under the bed is all of the battery and inverter. You can see here we've only got one 300 amp lithium battery with a position for another 300 and a 400 if we need it. We decided to go with just one battery to start with. We've got a lot of solar on the roof and we wanted to see how it went just with the solar and one 300 amp battery. It isn't enough, we should have got more to start with. On top of the inverter we've got a mesh screen. This is to help screen any high frequencies from the inverter to help with Catherine's pacemaker, because we didn't want her laying on top of an inverter with the pacemaker. It's not recommended. We store the spare mattress that goes on top of the table to convert it into an extra bed down the other end. We just store that under here. Like I said, we don't have a lot of storage besides all the cupboards and all that for large items in the van, because we don't have a tunnel boot for miscellaneous stuff. I'll show you through the water filters and the tanks and so on when we go outside. In the van we have mice. Catherine thought it was appropriate since we always had them at the farm. Just inside the door is the control panel for all the water tanks. So we have 6 water tanks in total, and each of those are 90 litres, and we also have a 90 litre grey water tank. So from here we can select which tanks we draw water from, whether it's drinking water in tanks 1 and 2 or general water in tanks 3 to 6. We can select which one we use. We also have flow meters, so we can see how full the tanks are. By resetting them every time we switch to a new tank, we can tell that, you know, we started with 90 litres of water and we have used, let's say, 45 litres of water or something like that, so we can determine how much is remaining in that tank. Next to that we've got our airbag control, so we use this to level the van up and down when we're parked up, simply by turning it from auto to manual and then controlling the height with these up and down, both of them each side. Then we can level the van, and we don't have to do anything like wheel chocks and all that sort of thing, so it's easy for us. When we're driving, you just put the airbag system in auto, and it automatically controls the height of the van as it travels down the road, and it sort of keeps it that height from the road. So if you're on a big lean and it's leaning to one side, it will slowly adjust to level it up. It's not a sort of fast adjustment, so if you think you're going to go flying around corners and it's going to self-level the van, it won't be able to keep up with that. So it's only designed for slower stuff. You can control the height as well. For instance, if you're going through a creek crossing and there's clearance problems or the water is very deep, you can put this into manual and you can raise the height of the van up to its maximum, which is about an extra 150 or 150 millimeters higher than standard. You can also lower it as well if you wanted to for some reason, but they recommend to travel on a standard road with it in auto. If it's a very corrugated road, you can put it into manual, which assists, well, it doesn't assist, it turns off the auto function, so it's not trying to correct for all the corrugations all the time. We opted to have manual steps instead of automatic on the van, The reason being is they're at the back, they can easily get damaged, particularly if you go into a river crossing or anything like that. Figured it's much easier to repair a manual step than a automatic one. If you're wondering why the dog's almost dead, they're not, but it is. "38 degrees.
And it's October 2nd. We installed this table, everyone probably has one. Our option, because the van's quite tall, was going to be over here, and for me that's just too high to be usable. So Carl has installed it, he bought one and installed it himself, and it's on our waiting door. It shuts perfectly and closes to the door and doesn't affect the weighting factor.
So the waiting door is for if you cross rivers with this van. It's waterproof to 1.2 meters, they say, and what it does is it just goes over the door and it seals shut so that no water can enter through the bottom of the door or anywhere around the door. So that just prevents any water getting to the bottom of the door, because this door, the waiting door, is waterproof. So essentially we can go up to the top of that checker plate in water depth with this van, and it should not leak. In here we have a mount for the TV plus power outlet. We have an external head for the stereo that you can control everything from out here. It's all Bluetooth, controls the TV, all of that sort of thing, so you don't have to go in.
And there's power points, which are great because in the hot weather I can actually cook my bread outside in the slow cooker. I'll show you that one day.
For the pull-out kitchen in the tunnel boot, we have installed twin gas outlets, so we can run 2 gas appliances at once. We've got our barbecue, our wok burner and our gas cooktop that all need gas. Got our sink, hot and cold water, gas cooktop, wok burner, barbecue and cutlery drawers, or whatever you like to put. There are self-closing doors. The runner for the pull-out kitchen, which was made by South East Stainless in Queensland, is a one-piece machined Teflon slide. So it fits into like a C-channel, and you just lubricate it with silicone spray. So there's no real moving parts like ball bearings or anything like that to break. So this should last years and years. You need to manually connect the gas fittings to the gas outlets every time. In the back there is where we store Catherine's pressure cooker for when she does canning or preserves or anything like that, if we happen to come across plenty of food or work in an orchard or something like that. So we use the pressure cooker on the wok burner. In the tunnel boot we have our drinking water filters on this side anyway, and UV sterilizer. So we have the ability to either take from the main tanks and put into the drinking water tanks and filter and sterilize, or we can suck from a stream if we want to and filter and sterilize, or we can take clean town water and put them straight into the tanks if we want to, or we can filter and sterilize that as well. One of the good things about this kitchen was that you can pull it out both sides of the van. The reason for that is, we'll go back around the other side, you can easily get in to change your water filters, do any work on the pumps or the compressor which is down there. Makes it very easy to work on. In here we have all of the valves for selecting which tank you fill. and flow meters to see how much water, or measure how much water you put into the tanks. So by that I can add to a partially full tank and know how much is in that tank. So if I use the other flow meter in the van, and you know it's got 40 litres let's say left, and we add another 20 litres to that tank, I know, and I can reset it to 60 litres in that tank. There's the air outlet for the compressor. Pump up your tyres. The inside of the doors I've insulated because we did get condensation on them when it was very cold. We run twin 9 kilo gas bottles, which lasts us exactly, believe it or not, 8 weeks. Just storage for pipes and so on at the front. In our front cupboard here we have our spare toilet cassette, hoses, tent pegs for the awning, power cables, and on the other side, which I'll show you, we have our generator. Our generator is a 2.2 kVA Honda, which can run our air conditioning and hot water if we want to. It simply just pulls out from there on a slide, and I normally take it off, or it's recommended that you take it off and put it away from the van when it's running. I don't think you can legally have it that close to the gas. If you are interested in our van coupling or electric leg, check out our previous tips and tricks video on both of these, as well as the air hitch on the truck. On the front of the van we have water taps, various water taps for filling up the tanks or for sucking from streams to fill up tanks, and also taps for washing hands, garden hose, or that sort of thing are also located here.
So this is where the toilet cartridge is. So we have a spare, and it's really handy having two. Yeah, you just change them over when you need to. And it means you can be out off grid way longer before you have to go find a town that has a dump point. Hot water service. This is the external shower. The hot cold water, it's really good, especially when you don't want to have like a shower inside. And we're trying to work out whether or not we actually save water by showering outside. Power point, so if we do need to connect to the mains, if we're at a caravan park or anything. And that's our beautiful van thus far. Carl's going to run you through underneath.
Under the van, as I said before, I said it had 6 water tanks. They're all interlocked together, nothing hanging down. Bushtracker's done a lovely job. All the pipework's protected from stones up out of the way. So we've got 4 tanks at the front, plus 2 tanks at the back, and the grey water at the very end. And dogs sleep under here when it's hot. Tanks at the back. It's a very well designed van. The van runs full airbag suspension. They're similar to a truck airbag, or the same as a truck airbag. You can see one side there is fully extended and the other side was fully compressed. So that's how we level up the van when we're parked. We just inflate one side, deflate the other side, and then we have a level van, so we can get it very level. We just use the spirit levels. It is much better on corrugated roads than coil sprung. It doesn't have as much travel as some of the coil suspensions that Bushtracker offer, but I opted over the travel, even though I love good travel on a van or a vehicle. The ride over corrugations I thought was more important for Australian outback roads. We have an electric awning that we use all the time. Solar on the roof, which we'll show you a few images of. Virtually as many panels as we could fit on the roof is what we did. For our external caravan lighting, we chose to install lights that are changeable from white light to yellow light. I just want to show you how good it actually is. So this first light here that's actually orange at the moment, they've both been on exactly the same amount of time. So this light here is twice as big as the other one, and I can see about 5 bugs. Now if I go to the other light, which is half the size, so you could say that it could have half as many bugs, that's currently white. There is, I don't know how many, 200 bugs going to this light. I'll just get Catherine to change it to yellow so you can see that they are changeable. So I would recommend, if you're installing any lighting for camping whatsoever, that you choose, it's only slightly dearer, the option to have it interchangeable between yellow and white. You can have it for your vehicle as well. On the front of the van we have got some lighting installed, which is great. You can turn it on at night, you can see if you're hooking up, or if you're something around camp that you're not too sure on, or if you just need to go out because it's pouring rain and you need to pack up things. We have them installed on the front, and we've also got them installed on the back, and they're really good, especially if we've got something going off with the dogs outside. We can just turn them on and have a look. Believe it or not, we've got this gimmicky type blue light on our door handle that turns on and off, and it is actually really good. When you come home at night, you can just turn it on from the outside and you can see the steps and your keyhole and everything like that when you're doing your keys, and it is actually great. Unfortunately they don't make it in yellow, which we would have preferred, so it doesn't look like some sort of spa setting sort of setup, but anyway, it does work great. Inside the tunnel boot, which I won't show you, we've also got lighting for at night time if you need to.
Cheers! Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe. In our next episode, we're heading through the Clare Valley into the Flinders Ranges, and we're camping at Parachilna Gorge. And don't forget, if you've got anywhere that you'd like to suggest us to travel to, feel free to drop us a line.